This video will be day 4 with my 2023 Magic Mare. On day 3, we ended off by picking up the front feet and really worked through her major lead rope problem. Today is day 4 with my Mustang, and I just want to see how she is with me approaching her. I left her with no halter on last night, so I'll approach her a couple times and pet her, see if I can get her to draw into me, and then I'll go in with the halter, and I'll probably work on leading by the feet first, which you guys already saw, so I probably won't film it. And then yeah, I'll show you a few new things I'm going to do with her today. A lot of desensitizing, a lot more leading, and body control. So every time she looks at me, I slow down my body language, and if I feel like she's about to shift her energy forward and start walking towards me, that's when I'll back up to kind of invite her in, create that space. I believe this session I just spent a lot of time hanging out with her, and like you heard me say, I probably did some leading by the feet. Something else I want to point out is that you can see the big long lead rope to the left. So since I know she has that problem with her feet and ropes being on the ground kind of underneath her nose while I haven't been in her pen, that way she can still kind of work herself while I'm not there, I've got different tools, different ropes all laid around near the ground all over the pen, especially near the hay. That way she can learn that it's not always a tool that's using pressure and that sometimes it's just an item that's hanging out there. She did a good job getting used to them because I did that for probably 4 or 5 days. I just kind of cluttered her pen with stuff and she realized it wasn't going to hurt her. She's honestly picked up haltering in a less sketchy way faster than pretty much every Mustang that I've had. She has a lot of confidence with it and she's pretty quiet with her head. She never really tries to pull away. And after I haltered her, I just let her move around with that attached lead rope for a little bit. Again, really focusing on that, kind of letting her get used to it. Same reason I'm using a flat halter right now still is she's sensitive enough I don't need that rope on her. So I'll start just by letting her sniff it. She's already kind of taken back by it. Good girl. If I can try to help her not strike at it and prevent that, I will. So that means making sure I do a lot more releases with her, especially when she seems like she's going to get defensive towards it, but then ends up relaxing. Good girl. I'll probably work with her a lot with the flag because it is quicker to have that motion coming up under her nose, which is what she really doesn't like. Good girl. Alright, now I'm going to do some desensitizing over here with it. So basically I'll keep my body relaxed, move it around, and as long as she's standing still initially, I'll go ahead and release, let her sniff it, and then go back to doing it. And then eventually we look for that relaxation. after the flag, I basically did the same exact thing with the ribbon wand, and she was pretty good with it. She wasn't too worried, but the funny thing is, and I left a clip in here after the first one or two, she was actually more focused and distracted with the flag that was still on the ground than she was with the ribbon wand. So it was almost like she kind of sidetracked her mind and went into a partial freeze state because she was just more concerned over her other surroundings than she was what I was doing. So like right here, not really caring about the ribbon wand or reacting to it, a little bit shut down and checking the flag out because it was a big concern for her. So I have to be, again, pretty careful about that, making sure she's all right with it. The other thing I make sure I work on with the flag is desensitizing above the ears, around the legs, under the belly. So just like with touching her, if I was using a lead rope or a normal stick, I make sure I always touch them in the new area of their body before I touch them with my hand there. That way they at least have a feel for touch in case they're super sensitive. I can know ahead of time. I did the same thing with the ribbon wand. I'm actually trying to have her walk towards it here. It's kind of hard in this size pen, but if I can have a scary object and basically have it so the horse is pushing it away, usually they start to get more confident around it, so I'll make sure to do that in a bigger area. So I did find a motion she didn't like, and that would be the flag kind of coming up out of her blind spot underneath, which would kind of make sense as to why she would be striking at the ropes and stuff and being nervous around that. It's that specific area when something comes fast out of there. So what I do here is keep the stick super soft and be sure that when I touch her, it's with no pressure or energy or anything. And I just bring it up to her cheek and I let it rest there until she relaxes. So that's a motion that I'll definitely do a lot since you can tell she's pretty flinchy over it. But all in all, for a horse that's sensitive with that type of thing, she's handling it really well and she's trying really hard to give me the right answer. This is her first time leaving the pen, and it took a while getting her just out and down, and she was really, really sticky. I thought we had a pretty good foundation in the pen that she's staying in, yielding the hindquarters, moving the shoulders a little bit, and just moving forward off that lead rope pressure. But of course, after I did this experience, I saw some holds, and I did teach her how to kind of move forward off of like a dressage whip from behind. That way I could send her if I needed to. But you can see there's a lot of sticky feet. I'm trying to give her a big release every time she takes a step forward, even if it's just a half step. And it didn't help that there was a stud directly across from her, so she was kind of getting confused and thinking about that. But just working with sticky feet, trying to get her to break those feet up going side to side, and all while making it a positive experience for her. I'll shorten this clip down because it did take me a while to get down to the other side. And yeah, it wasn't completely ideal that the stud was there, but I'm just happy to be using the facility. It's not my horse to move around or go anywhere else, so we just work with what we've got.
the first time. She got really stuck like the first time going down the aisleway, and there's a stud that was kind of screaming to her, so she was nervous about that. But then once she walked back and forth a couple times, she was a lot better. She was actually pretty nervous when we got into the round pen because it was like so much open space. She wasn't sure exactly what to do. So instead of working her out there today like I had originally planned, her workout was basically just going to the round pen and back a couple times so she'd get relaxed out there. And then just right now before I let her go for the day, I'm working on putting my body kind of on her shoulder and rubbing the other side of her, which doesn't seem to bother her too much. I think I'm just gonna leave the rope on her for a couple more nights. Again, that whole snake thing, she's not the biggest fan of it, but she's getting a lot better.